welcome Christian metal community. We're back again today. We're with Mitchell Layton. He's with a couple of bands. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Great. So, Jay, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? I know that we're filming this during the holidays, but hopefully y'all
Yeah,
checking this out through the years. But for those who actually do get to see this during the holidays, happy holidays to you. And then, of course, Merry Christmas. I was gonna say there's plenty of holidays to celebrate through the year. So whenever you see this, even if it's Easter, Happy Easter. No,
that's right. That's right. Well, so this is Jimmy and Jay. We're with the Christian metal group community and
that's
website,
right.
and now we have Instagram and TikTok. You go follow us on all of those. So,
That's right.
man, well, glad to be back on here with Mitchell. So, Mitchell, what I, I know I'm somewhat familiar with your music, especially Plead the Widow's Cause because it's been around a lot longer. Pipe Bomb's a newer band, but
hmm
let's back up to you personally. So, did you grow up in a religious home?
yeah, I did. I think, yeah, I can't remember. If you ask my mom, I probably got saved when I was like 5, something really young.
Mm,
But yeah, it was definitely not the type of religious home that was focused on like, here, believe this, believe this, believe this. It was
right.
definitely like a good upbringing, and I think a way that promoted me developing my own faith over time.
Sure,
Not
that's
just the type of
important.
thing where it's like go to youth group and then you're kind of on your own.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, it's definitely a religious upbringing, but very much focused on me developing my own faith within that.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
cool. And
where?
did you grow up in a
And,
musical home? Oh, well.
mhm. No, no, that's it. Go ahead.
What'd you
Yes.
say?
Did you grow up in a musical home?
Not really. I think my mom played the flute. Nothing
Uh,
like
That's interesting.
nothing too musical. I can remember
Hmm.
my dad like listening to like I don't know U2 and stuff. They weren't like musicians. We didn't have instruments around the house. But I remember. Um, Guitar is sort of like my main thing,
Hmm.
and I remember hearing Switchfoot "Meant to Live"
mm,
for the first
yeah.
time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do that." Like that riff is still awesome. I love
Hmm.
it.
Switchfoot, still changing lives 20 years later.
There
Yeah,
we go.
That's
for
awesome.
sure. But yeah,
So
when I
that was
heard
the
that riff,
first like rock band that you remember that really you were like caught your attention. That's awesome.
yeah, I think that, and I remember my friend burnt me a CD that had like Switchfoot, Reliant K,
Hmm.
Okay.
maybe like POD and Pillar, and like kind of
Yeah.
Oh,
those like
that's a good friend.
yeah. Yeah, and maybe a couple like Christian rappers or something. I never got into that, so I don't really remember who they were. But
so
yeah, but it
so
was kind
so
of like a
for
big mixed CD of like all these different things. But then when I heard Switchfoot, I was like, oh yeah, that's it.
So
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
So for the people watching this that were born after 2010, you want to explain what the burn a CD means?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess people don't do that anymore. I wish it was a thing. It's
I've
basically
still
you.
got quite a few burnt CDs that I listen to that,
Yeah,
people made me or I made or whatever.
I
it's
still
the
have.
original
Uh-huh.
Spotify playlist,
Right,
like in a
exactly. I still
physical
have some.
form.
I don't think I've listened to any in a long time, but I have them.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
I actually made my wife a burnt CD mixtape. I guess technically it's not a tape, but you call it a mixed CD, whatever. Uh, when we got engaged, and it was all love songs from like Christian rock and metal bands. I had Tourniquet on there, 90 Pound Wuss,
Hmm.
Denison Mars, all that good stuff. That was awesome, man.
Yeah. That's the move back in the day. That's how you
Yeah,
profess your love to someone. You make them a mixed
that's
CD.
that's right. Hey, she said yes,
Oh.
so it worked out.
Nice. There you go.
So so Mitchell, tell us. So you hear Switchfoot and you're like, what is this? This kind of changed your life. In that musical direction. And obviously your music that you're making now doesn't sound anything like Switchfoot. So what was your musical progression to the harder stuff? And were you always in the a fan of like the Christian rock metal scene or whatever, or did you venture out to other influences as well?
Yeah, I think for starters, I definitely was more influenced by Christian bands.
Sure.
Because like Switchfoot, Reliant K were kind of like my two big intros to like Christian rock as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up. I'm still in New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey, and I remember when I was in high school, like Creation Festival was like kind of a big
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And then
And,
in
and
New
where was that
Jersey,
at?
Creation was
Creation
in Pennsylvania somewhere. I don't.
in Pennsylvania, and you lived in New Jersey.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
would like
Okay.
different churches in the area would like take groups there and go check them out. So I remember like that was like my first show I ever went to was Creation, and that was like a great time to go. We didn't realize it at the time, but it was like Switchfoot just released Nothing Is Sound, Reliant K just released and they were like the two headliners, and I was like, this is great,
Ah, Reliant
So
KO.
yeah,
I've seen them quite a few times back in the day.
yeah, yeah. But then yes, so that was sort of when I went to Creation. I was like, oh, this is really cool, and
Yeah.
um, but yeah, we had in New Jersey proper, we had a Christian music festival called Revelation Generation, which I don't
Okay.
think it had quite as much press as Creation,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I liked that more. It definitely was more geared towards like heavier bands and stuff.
What were some of the ones you remember seeing there that really like?
Yeah, I mean that was a bit later too. So I probably went to Creation when I was like in middle school, maybe
Okay.
like 12, 13. Um, and then I went to Rev Gen when I was like 17, 18.
Okay.
Um, but it was like the kind of thing where like our parents, me and like my brother and my cousins and our parents would all go and we just split and then meet up at the end of the day because they would have a full lineup of like I don't know Casting Crowns and like Toby Mac and Newsboys and like those type of bands, and we would go see like Maylene and the Sons of the Disaster and like
Oh
um,
wow.
Sleeping Giant played, Norma Jean played, Devil Wears Prada played,
Sounds
August Burns
crazy.
Red played, yeah, Impending Doom played. It was just like that was a. I
Man,
mean,
that's
for starters, that was the golden era of like
heck yeah.
Christian metal. So I feel very lucky to have grown up and been in like peak young adult age when that was popular and accessible. And like, yeah, I remember. I think a Plea for Purging played, and they were
Yeah.
super cool. And like,
Yeah, very
getting
cool.
to like that was a weird experience for me of kind of realizing like all these bands seem very larger than life when you're a kid, and then you go up to meet them, and they're like eating Taco Bell and like living off of $5 a day, and you're like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, these are just like normal guys, and they're kind of broke, and you're like helping them out a lot by buying a $20 T-shirt. And
Yeah.
And you said this is the life for me.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of nice, like realizing, oh, I can just go up and talk to these guys. There's no
Sure.
disconnect there. The same way that there was with like maybe the bands that my parents were, and in a way, I think that was also kind of the golden era for a lot of Christian music, even kind
Oh
of the
yeah.
more mainstream acts. Um, like society in general, I think was more open to the sort of like crossover, like
I
oh, it's Christian
I
music, but like it appeals to like a secular audience too. So yeah, I think like I don't know, I like bands like Toby Mac and like Newsboys were like
mhm.
in full swing, and so I feel like for my parents' generation, they were like, oh, here's this cool crossover where like you kids can go listen to this, we can go listen to this, and
Yeah.
it definitely had a
It,
moment for sure.
a lot of people taking their kids. Yeah. I mean, I would say like the Audio Adrenaline, Newsboys, and Supertones. Those were the three big during the. I call them the youth group days. Definitely
That's a
seen
good
all of those. I never did get to see DC
good
Talk, but
one.
I did. I did see Toby
Mm.
Mac though.
Yeah, Supertones played Rev Gen, and that was like the first ska show or ska band that I saw play, and I was like, oh, this is like I don't really enjoy listening to ska that much, but seeing them play, I was
Yeah.
like, this is cool. I see why people are into this.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
became
I
a
always love them
fan.
live more than the studio.
Yeah. I've actually got a 5 Iron Frenzy shirt on right now.
Oh, sweet.
Oh wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
I seen them. And they come through Atlanta and Charlotte, which are about 2 hours from me.
Mm.
In the last last two big tours that they had through there, I saw them with MXPX one time and Squad 50 the next time, and they were both just really good shows.
Truth.
Nice. Yeah, one band that I never really listened to a ton, but my old band got the opportunity to open up for them was Streetlight Manifesto, and
I've heard of them, but I'm not too familiar with them.
Yeah, same here.
yeah, they're very cool. They're very talented. Again, like ska is not like my go-to genre,
Sure.
but we and the band I was in before, it's called Church Girls. We were like an indie punk band, so even for us, it was definitely like a mixed bill show. You know, like we weren't a ska band opening for a ska band, but
Sure.
getting the chance to open up for them on a couple shows and like see them play when the horns like hit you in the front row, you're like, whoa, this is
So, so like
there's like a definitely an energy to it that's
what year was
really cool.
that? Like what year or what era was that?
That was a couple years ago. I think like
Oh, okay.
2022, 2023
That's cool.
is
All right.
when we were playing pretty active, like touring around and
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, but seeing, getting to like, we were a little worried. I think like, what's the ska crowd gonna be like? Like we were like, how are they gonna like
Yeah.
us? And they were so cool. Like everyone was. There's a big crossover with just all types of music with the
Yeah.
people who were in that crowd, and
Yeah.
so it was very welcoming, even for like an indie punk band like us. So that was super cool.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
Um.
So,
Oh, sorry. Go
um,
ahead.
I know that with your two bands, and who knows me more, but with your two bands, you play all the instruments or whatever on dang on
Pipe
Pipe
bomb.
bomb.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
Pipe Bomb. Every time we're gonna talk about the name of this band too, Pipe Bomb. Like, where the heck did that come from? But
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this and I thought, like terroristic threats coming down down the pipe or something. Okay, anyway, okay. How many instruments do you play though?
Yeah, so for Pipe Bomb, so the two bands I'm active in now are Pipe Bomb and Plead the Widow's Cause.
Hmm.
Pipe Bomb, I do vocals, guitar, and bass.
Okay.
Um, and then my brother will do the drums. Currently, we're just, for budget reasons for the recordings, we're just like programming drums the way that he would play them. Um, but
No, I understand.
yeah, so vocals, guitar, bass are the main ones that I
But
play.
what we love to
Um,
hear is that it's not AI music. We
yeah,
love
Amen.
yeah,
we,
yeah,
we
yeah.
love real music. That's awesome, man.
Amen.
My goal in general with Pipe Bomb is to write riffs that are so like dissonant and stupid that AI
Yeah.
couldn't write them.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
hopefully that becomes more of a thing. But
That's become a big challenge in the Christian metal group. Is this band AI or not? We actually have a list of a couple hundred that one of our moderators has curated, and we go, okay, if this is posted, we go and look and see if it's on that list once it's confirmed, and we ban them and everything.
sheesh.
So um, so on your musical journey, what did Pipe Bomb or Plead come first, and how did you get involved in those two?
Yeah. So I started Pipe Bomb while I was still in my last band, Church Girls.
Okay, another
I had a
interesting name, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know where that one came from. I joined
Okay,
that band after they had already like formed and stuff.
gotcha.
Okay.
Okay,
I think it's just kind of a fun, easy to remember name. Sort of the same with Pipe Bomb. Pipe Bomb, I think I probably watched a Unabomber documentary or something and was like, oh, that's kind of that kind of goes hard. Maybe that's a good
yeah,
name.
For sure.
Um,
that goes
uh,
hard.
that's kind of like that's all the thought that went into it. I wasn't
Okay,
like, oh, this needs a deeper meaning. I was just like, what's something that's easy to remember and like is fun to me to
yeah.
say. So, um,
I don't think you got to
and
worry about any copyright names on that one.
it lends itself to a bunch of puns and stuff. Like we
Sure.
started calling like the fans of Pipe Bomb. I just started calling them the Bomb Squad, and I'm like, that's
Oh,
fun. I like that.
that's cool. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah. So anyway, I started Pipe Bomb when I was still in Church Girls because I just had a couple demos I was sitting on, and I was like, I don't know, like I have
Yeah.
this feeling of like if I wait until I set up a full band and like try to record it properly and do all this stuff, like it's just not gonna happen. So
Sure.
I just I just recorded it, and at the time my brother had a different job and was super busy, and like we've been in bands before, and he plays drums, so he's kind of like my go-to drummer. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of do this myself, put it out, and
Yeah.
like see what happens. So that was when so False God was the first song that I recorded.
Yep.
Didn't know what I was doing. I had a couple like generally like guitar gear I know about, but like
Okay.
vocal like mics and like recording stuff I don't really know a ton about. So I just had Logic and I was like, here we go. I just recorded everything, mixed it
That's how you
myself,
learn,
mastered it
right?
myself. Yeah. And so I just put it out, and I think the first day it had like 10 listeners or something. Like it really wasn't much. And then I had a couple friends send it to Sean at Kingdom Core. Um, and then he just like shared it. And I didn't even know
Oh,
what
cool.
Kingdom Core was at the time. Like I had never
Yeah.
heard of the page. And so he just shared it. And then I think like overnight got like 1,000 followers just from that.
That's pretty
And I was like,
sweet.
whoa, people are actually interested in this type of music. Because in my mind, I was like, Christian metal is, the golden era has passed. No one cares about this
Uh,
anymore. Like, the Chariot broke up in 2013. No one wants to listen to this stuff anymore.
oh,
You know,
see, you
I'm,
can't have that. That outlook is there's always going to be somebody come along that tries to, do their own thing, man. That's awesome
yeah.
though that you
And
still did
so,
it.
yeah, I mean, I really did it just kind of, I mean, it sounds selfish, but like I did it for myself because I was like, if, I like this demo, and if I don't
Yeah.
put it out, it's just never going to happen. So
Yeah.
even though it wasn't perfect, even though I'm still not thrilled with like the production quality or anything, I was
Sure.
like, well, I'm just going to put it out. And then after the response to that, I was like, I should probably have some more songs. And I had no more songs. So, yeah, then
So
I just got
all
started.
this came from one song that you made,
Yeah.
not an
And then,
album. Okay.
yeah. And then I just started kind of recording stuff, putting out, dropping one single at a time. And then I was like, I might have to, take this a little more seriously. So sorry, what year is it? Last year I dropped an EP called Stomp, and then started working on a full length, and that full length will be out within the next few months. I'm still finalizing the official date, but looking at sometime toward the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and this album was my first experience kind of realizing the limitations of my own like mixing and mastering abilities and being like, okay, I want to
Sure.
like invest a little bit. So the John Niclario at Not a Recording, who did both of the Plead the Widow's Calls albums,
Uh-huh.
I got him to mix and master this one, and
Oh, very nice.
so yeah, I'm excited about this because it's kind of like more of a step into like the more legitimate functions of a band. I want to like have a
So,
proper studio
yeah.
recorded experience, and so
Right.
yeah, I'm excited for
So
how
I
this is
see
turning out.
Bliss was your latest single that you released, right? Is that
Yeah,
Great
correct?
song, by the way.
I
thank you.
Yeah, and Jay will he can ask you about that one. I really dig Hate Club. Can you tell us about that song and how that came about? Like, I mean, musically, I really was into it.
Cool. Yeah, that one has a little bit more of like a mathcore thing, at least in the start.
Yeah,
And then I think kind of it's not like a chorus section, but what that kind of like breakdown section feels a
right.
little under oathy.
Yep.
That kind of like it's a little more of like a post-hardcore sound. So yeah, that one I had been wanting to kind of experiment with some of the like those panic chord math like odd time signature things. And so there's a little bit of that in some other songs, but in general I don't like I know about time signatures, but writing mathcore is definitely like a different muscle for me to flex. So
Yeah.
that was sort of my trying to do more of that song.
Well, I like it, man, and I think the fact that it's real music, it's not AI, it's not
Right.
metalcore. Like I don't hate metalcore, but there's just so much out there, and it sounds
A lot
so
of it
much of it
sounds
sounds
good.
the same. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when I heard this, uh, I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, you already mentioned Under Oath. I heard Under Oath influence, maybe some Norma Jean, Project 86, older school, and I'm like, I love that because that's the era like when I was. I mean, I still go to concerts often. Like I said, I just saw Cleansing of the Temple and with Blood Comes Cleansing, which was amazing. But I was going to many shows, multiple shows a week back then, and all that sound and everything. I just love it. So
Yeah, yeah. Norma Jean's definitely a big influence too. The Chariot, the Dillinger
yeah,
Escape Plan.
I followed Josh Scoggins' whole career. I love. So I actually booked Ludacris because I used
Oh,
to book and
cool.
promote bands, and
Mhm.
then he released that, and then I followed. The whole. I love '68 too. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
heard them. Yeah, okay.
yeah. They're
I've
cool.
probably seen them 5 times since they've been around, or six maybe.
Nice.
All right, cool. I definitely we were talking about going into the song Bliss, and I also kind of want to talk about False God. But let's
Yep.
talk about Bliss first. I think there's a couple of things that I noticed right off. Like the beginning section, especially, kind of remind me of Dillinger Escape Plan.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Just like very fast, like I guess drumming and riffs, and almost blasting, and then it goes
Hmm.
into more, you know, just more, I guess, for lack of a better word, like metalcore type group
Hmm.
or whatever. But man, um, there, the guitars that you're playing guitar at that, of course, and just really razor sharp, tight riffs. Like I'm trying to figure out. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like maybe a life once lost, also, and like
Mm.
obviously the kings of anything past 2000 influence wise, Meshuggah. You know,
Oh yeah.
Meshuggah's cool.
like it just seemed it
Oh sugar,
definitely
sugar.
reminded me that. Um, I think that for people like I would say from you know maybe '98 to now, like Meshuggah especially has been like they're like the Metallica of the '90s and
Mm.
2000s. In the
Oh, that's
'80s it was
true.
like
Yeah.
Metallica, '80s and '90s, and then like things just shifted. Like then I guess in the '90s it was kind of Pantera.
Mm.
Are you saying that Metallica's not relevant anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, Metallica's still
Like,
awesome. I will always love Metallica, and I
yeah.
just saw them
Just
live.
not all of Metallica.
Right, exactly. It's like, well, I love everything. I love all their albums
Yeah.
except Lulu. Can't do
It's
Lulu.
that what
Everything else.
Lulu is. That's got to be the worst album. Have you heard that, Mitchell?
I haven't. I
Yeah.
I know
He re,
everyone
they re,
talks trash on Saint Anger, but
Yeah.
honestly, like some of the riffs are great. Like some kind of monster. If they just
Those riffs, dude.
some kind of monster rules. Like I love that
I'm,
song.
I mean, it's a well written song, but it would sound better if they didn't use trash cans for drums. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I think,
I
this is funny. For me, my biggest issue with Saint Anger is the vocals, actually.
oh really?
Because
Okay.
because I'm a person that loves vocals and harmonies and stuff, and I also have perfect pitch. So when I hear like out of tune vocals, thankfully this is not a problem with you, Michael. By the way,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, but just as a note,
Jay's a musician. He knows that pretty quick.
right? So it's like when I hear vocals, like, and this is also like the thing with Metallica is also my problem with a lot of metalcore. Like the vocals are really whiny a lot of times, and
Mm,
like
yeah.
I'm always listening to vocals as a producer, like you know,
Sure.
just and it's like, what are y'all doing? And with James, it was just like no excuse for Bob Rock to let those vocals happen on Saint Anger. Like they could have been, if those vocals had been better, that would have been like a top five Metallica album almost.
mm,
Because I mean,
So is Saint Anger better than Load and Reload?
I
See,
think
I
that
mean, those three
yes,
albums,
I
I don't
I
know.
think the first five songs on both Load and Reload if they had taken the first 5 or 6 songs on both of those albums and put them into one album, it would have been a perfect
Oh,
joint.
that's a very interesting concept. Okay.
You know, but yeah, but
Yeah.
besides that, like I think that like Saint Anger, like Michael was saying, like those like the riffs, and I think that kids that were born around the time of Saint Anger can probably look at how music has shifted into the
Sure.
whole. Like I said, just like your guitars, I think on your guitars on the pipe bombs, especially like a song like Bliss. Um, they're very, just the down tune and the way they just sound so nice and razor sharp. Dang, I almost want to get into the technical side of this, but like,
We
just
can. I mean,
the
yeah.
razor
Go ahead.
sharpness of them, just them reminding me of. Um, I'm gonna tell you, there's a Meshuggah song like. See, now I'm gonna have to look up on my phone like which Meshuggah song I'm thinking of, but it's something off of maybe Nothing or something like that. But so let's just say the album Nothing. Like some of the guitars that you're using on like your last few singles remind me of like the guitar tones on Nothing, and it's just like like I said, Saint Anger used like maybe some similar type of guitar sounds or whatever. And it's it's just real meaty and yet razor sharp, and it's just like that's the sound. They were definitely kind of prophetic as far as where music was going, as they always have been.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I mean, Metallica is a pretty big influence for me, like, especially when I
Mm,
started playing guitar.
sure.
Like, in high school, there was a big shift from, like, I guess going back to your earlier question, like, how did I get from, like, Reliant K Switchfoot to, like, where I am now? Like, I
mhm.
Mm,
think it was, like, the Christian rock to Christian hard rock phase, and then Christian hard rock, the like Pillar, Skillet, Red,
Yeah.
whatever, and then hearing Metallica and being like, oh, that's cool. That guitar wise, that's what I want to be playing, and So for as soon as I got into high school, it was like, listen to Metallica. Went back and listened to a lot of like, even tried out like Megadeth, Pantera, that kind of stuff, um, and then I think hearing that was my gateway into heavier music, and then
Hmm.
that was when like A Day to Remember was like really coming up, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
Under Oath was really coming up, and
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, okay, this they still have singing, but like there's some screaming, like it was
Hmm.
easier, it's more palatable to get into.
More melodic.
um, yeah, and then I heard Dillinger Escape Plan, and I was like, oh, these guys are like the
See.
heaviest, craziest thing I've ever heard,
Hmm.
and it almost like fried my brain, like it was like too much at first, and then I had to revisit them
That's
again
awesome.
later, and then was like, oh yeah, I really like this.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
but yeah, and then I think like the first Under Oath album I heard was Lost in the Sound of Separation. That's still my favorite one. I think it's the most like
Mm,
dissonant and heavy and artsy one.
Yeah.
sure.
Um, and so yeah, that kind of opened up a whole thing of like all the adjacent bands like Norma Jean, and then getting into like heavier stuff like yeah, Norma Jean, Haste the Day. Those are like two big
Oh,
ones for me.
that first Taste of Day album,
Yeah.
it's perfection. It's so
One of the
good.
most
I came into
amazing
them
things.
later. So I came
Yeah.
into them when what is the one? It has the like apple on the front. It has like 68 and Mad Men, is that on there? Um, and then like Attack of the Wolf King, I think is the next one. I got into them like later. I might be getting these names wrong also, but
So,
um,
Dreamer. So you had Burning
Dreamer, yes,
Bridges, When Everything Fails, Pressure the Hinges, then Dreamer, then Attack
Dreamer
of the
was the
Wolf
one.
King,
Yeah,
and
Dreamer was the
Taste
one
the
that
Day.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. See, and I'm
Um,
not as familiar with that album.
Yeah, I know a lot of the OG Haste the Day guys were
Oh,
like
Yeah.
nice.
just the first few,
Yeah.
but yeah, they were like a little more shreddy, and I feel like guitar wise that was interesting to me,
Hmm.
um,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and then
Especially for a metalcore band.
yeah, but I think for like getting into like those kind of more shreddy bands, and then moving towards like the more dissonant sound, like when I started listening to the Chariot,
Mm.
Hmm.
a lot of that kind of that stuff changed, and I got really into like Every Time I Die, um, and like
Okay. Yeah.
some of those like Poison the Well, Botch, that kind of stuff. And then the older I got, I started experimenting with more like artsy stuff like Daughters. It's like kind of like noise rock. Chat Pile's one that I've been listening to lately. I think in terms of where the Christian metal ended, and then I started seeing some more like artistically interesting bands in secular music. I was like, oh, I want to absorb more of that type of musical influence. But yeah, going back to your question about guitar tones and Meshuggah and stuff. Meshuggah, they're really interesting, but to be honest, I don't like listen to them a ton. I just know that song Bleed.
Yeah.
But like, I think guitar wise, there are some similar tones. Bliss is an interesting one because it's in a really stupid tuning. It's standard, but the low E is tuned to an A, so it's A
Yeah.
A D G B E.
Hmm.
So the lowest two strings are just an octave, A and A,
Right.
and they're
Right.
flopping everywhere.
Of
Um,
course.
so yeah, playing that riff, it's a pretty simple riff. It's just fast, and because it's so low, it just everything sounds kind of like da 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 da. Like it's just you can't even like differentiate the notes really. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was fun. I just was messing around in that tuning and thought it sounded cool. Um,
Hmm.
but in general, I don't tune super low. Like most of the songs are in drop D,
Hmm.
um, and then that one and Stomp are in that like A tuning. That's not drop A. It's just standard with an A on the
Right.
bottom.
Right.
But yeah, I think because that tuning is so low, it can make it sound. Um, I forget what word you'd use to describe the tone, but it kind of has this like very pointed, like here's the note. It's you can't even like distinguish the note, but it's still very present. Um,
Yeah, I
and
definitely think when
yeah,
you get down to A, even B flat, when you get down to B flat, like you can, it starts to get muddy for sure. And, yeah, A is even. And I know Meshuggah a lot of times, just going back to them, I know sometimes they tune even lower. Uh, and it's like, how do you, I guess when you have like, you start experimenting with like 8 and 9 string guitars, it's like, yeah, you get some
yeah. I
highs.
don't have any of them. I just have six strings. So if I tune to
Yeah.
A, it's flopping around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be good for the metal, like the flopping around. You'll get certain tones just from the strings flopping around for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's
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 cool.
pretty crazy. I think the biggest thing about like Meshuggah is that obviously even a lot of people that never listen to them will hear their influence all throughout music, just like people that never listen to Metallica will hear their influence throughout metal, and it's just it's crazy. Like even that it shifted, like the Meshuggah influence even shifted into hardcore and anything math metal, of course, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely the math metal kings. So I appreciate that.
Did
Check out. I will say this just as a recommendation. Check out Destroy, Erase, Improve.
Mm.
Like that album, I
huh.
think it literally changed music. It isn't as defined as say the music they started making on the album they did Bleed on, but it's a lot of thrash there for sure. But there's so many riffs. Actually, I would say that Living Sacrifice's hammering process is probably a
Mm.
tribute to Destroy, Erase, Improve in a lot of ways.
Oh, very
Cool.
interesting. Okay.
I'll
You
have
know,
to check it out.
Uh,
yeah,
well, y'all were talking about the all the different genres and how we started from and graduated to heavier music. I'm just
Mhm.
thinking back to a time like you can you visualize whenever Alien Youth by Skillet was the hardest thing you knew,
yeah,
and then it's like you hear something, that, and you're like, wow, this is like how, blowing my mind. And then you hear Dillinger Escape playing. Like,
yes.
it's just, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. It really, it's pretty interesting
I,
how that happens. And you think, how could anything, like, even right now, like, I know Hope Deferred. I just got their album. Is like, how can anything? Nothing can get harder than that. You hear that, and then you hear something else. It's like, man,
oh yeah, absolutely.
uh,
There's always people taking chances and risks and stuff like that. I think you brought up an excellent thing. We've been talking about the progression from Switchfoot to you know Norma Jean and everything else, but even with Skillet, um, it's been a huge topic in our group, of course, because of the holidays. And
Yeah.
Johnny Cooper does one scream, and everybody's like losing their crap. It's like,
No, it's demonic because he screams. Like,
right, exactly. It's like, what the heck? I mean, they never listened to
haven't heard Pipe
traditional
Bomb
black
then,
and
have
white.
they?
Right, like, yo, I mean, I think that a lot of people really are stuck in an era. Like you
Mm.
said, the alien youth era.
Oh,
Some people still think of Skillet and cannot envision them graduating from Alien Youth or
yeah,
Comatose.
that's a good point. Yeah.
So, and I wonder, what I think that your bands, Michael, are definitely diverse enough where that won't be a problem for you. But unless you just decide to make a full-on death metal album or something like that.
Yeah. I
Um,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good,
uh,
man. But yeah, it is interesting how people perceive, that you have to stay in your particular lane or your particular box. Um, you
Yeah,
know.
I know some people, I think like, and that's something I've thought about after coming out with like my first EP is like, oh, will people, if I switch things up, will people still like it? Because I think
yeah.
like, I think the way that a lot of people came onto Pipe Bomb is thinking like, oh, it's like Norma Jean in the Chariot but newer or something, and it's
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to sound like those bands. I like those bands, but I'm trying to kind of sound like myself, and I don't really overthink
But
the songs
but
too
there's
much.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong about that either. I mean, you carry the torch on. I saw it. I see, like, even though Disciple's still playing, Chaotic Resemblance is really carrying on that torch of the early
Yes.
Disciple, but they're still playing at the same time. They're doing their own thing. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but that the sound and the way that their stage show, everything really, in my mind, kind of mimics the older. And what's interesting is both of the singers of both bands started those bands when they were in middle school. So that's pretty
Wow.
interesting. So, you believe Disciple's been around for over 30 years now? It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Jay, did you have a question for Mitchell about False God? Is that something you said earlier?
Oh yeah. Now there was something. Well, first of all, it's a great song, but also I thought the cover artwork was interesting for that one because it
Yeah,
was
I think a lot of people thought it was like anti-Catholic or something.
right,
um,
right, right.
which it's not. Like I think you know, I just thought it looked cool. I
Yeah.
maybe that's like a little bit of oversight on my part, but um, I don't like I don't overthink it. I'm just like, well, if it looks
Yeah.
cool, there's the album cover. And at the time, it was just like a demo. I was like, no one's gonna listen to this. Um,
Ah. Well, we
so
showed you.
Right, exactly. Oh
yeah.
my god.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that one I've had a few people reach out and be like, "Hey, is this like saying that Catholics are worshiping a false god?" And I'm like, "No."
Right. Trust me. I
It's
read the
however
lyrics for
you
sure.
interpret it.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the song in general is about like the concept of a false god being the god of your own imagination of thinking that your works are good enough or thinking that your works
Ah,
are what save you. And so I think no matter what denomination you're in, whether it's Catholic or Protestant or whatever, I think people can be more swayed to that view of thinking, consciously or subconsciously, that their works are good enough, or that if they have good works, that somehow makes them in right standing with God, not
Right.
that their right standing with God is through Jesus only.
ah,
So, and
mm,
that the works, and again, faith versus works is always that line of like, faith without works is dead, but then you don't want to have too much of a focus on works can essentially create a false god that
True.
you're worshiping,
sure.
Absolutely.
or appealing to through your works, of thinking that like that's the first line is long days make a false god sleep in a cage, and the whole idea behind that was when you reach real trials in life, you can't depend on your works. You can't depend, like, when you reach the end of yourself and you realize like all of the effort that I'm putting in amounts to nothing. all the good works that I think I have are still filthy rags. Like when you realize that God that you're appealing to through your works is not real or not able to save you because only the true God can save you.
That's good.
That can kind of wreck your worldview. And so I think, yeah, when the rubber meets the road and like life gets hard, that's when you realize your need for a savior and your need for God. So that was more what I was going for with that song. Was not an anti-Catholic thing, but was an anti-works, or not anti-works, but an anti-dependency on our works or our own standing to like justify ourselves before God.
Well, I mean, really, if you look at all the different religions, I mean, which there's thousands, but they are all works based outside of Christianity. You know,
For sure.
I think that's really the basis of it. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, before we move on to Plead the Widow's Cause, tell us about your involvement with Coleman Gata.
With what?
Coleman Gata, or is it Gota?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh, well, you're credited with being on an album that you don't know about. Then that's pretty awesome.
I guess so.
There must be another person with your same name, but that's
No,
this is
AI
funny. I'm
version.
looking at right. So I'm looking at Discogs.com. You familiar with that website? So like I've been on Discogs and I'm like, hey, we're gonna play Is Discogs correct? And then I'll read it and they'll say yes or no. And I've done that with Wikipedia. But it has you listed on here with Church Girls, Coleman Gata, and then Plead the Widow's Cause. So you might want to check that out.
Coleman.
You're
Okay,
like,
wait. Oh, wait. That sounds familiar. I think I did some guitar tracks for him back in the day.
that's so funny. So it says it was released last year. It's Don't Stop Playing the Guitar is the album, and you were on Glad That You Are Alive and Missing
Yeah,
Stars.
yeah.
Is that correct?
Okay, that is correct. I had always referred to him as Coleman. That's funny you bring that up. I literally had not
That's
thought
hilarious.
about that in a long time. Yeah, I
You
did
do
some
so much
guitar
music
tracks for that.
you can't keep up.
Yeah, I did some guitar tracks for that like back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's funny you bring that up.
Is that just a rock band, somebody local, or?
That's actually like a friend of a friend that reached out to me.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, they were working with a producer, John Fiffner, and he reached out to me about like doing some guitar tracks for that
Oh, very cool.
particular album. Yeah, that's so funny that you bring that up. I haven't thought about that in a long time, but
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just listed there, so I just was wondering what the involvement was. Well, that's cool. Awesome.
yeah.
You got any
Yeah,
more,
for a
Jay,
while,
about any of that?
I was trying to do like some session guitar work and stuff like that. So yeah, there's been a few
Ah.
credits here and there of doing guitars for people.
Oh, that's cool then. Yeah.
Well, cool. I guess, and then we were talking about getting into Plead the Widow's Cause. So, what's the name from? Like, what inspired the name?
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of a newer member of Plead the Widow's Cause.
Okay.
So me and Bill, the drummer, joined. How long has it been? I guess it was like last year.
Okay.
Like midsummer of last year is when we joined. And so yeah, I can't remember the exact verse. I know the name Plead the Widow's Cause comes from a Bible verse. I can't remember the exact one.
It is
to be
Isaiah
honest-
117. Isaiah 117. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on with the scriptures.
To be honest, so for things like names and song meanings and stuff,
Yeah.
I probably am not a very good resource on that. Just because playing the bass, I more come in like after the fact and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
here's a little bass riff, you know? But yeah, so me and Bill joined last year and we're part of the writing process for like the newer album, Silver Glass Stare. So that's sort of when we came into the band, we were in the process of writing that. So that was fun to kind of hop in and then just be like, oh, here we go, we're writing an album, you know? But But I've known those guys for years. Like I've known Matt and Ian for probably like 10 years, 15 years almost.
Are they from South Jersey?
Yep. Yeah. So we're all
Okay,
from South Jersey. Oh, and Bill, I knew Bill for probably 10 or 15 years too. We all
nice.
kind of grew up playing in the same music scene in like our previous bands and stuff when we were in like high school and whatever.
Okay,
But yeah, so that's kind of how I met those guys, and then um, I did a year in music school. I went to college, and just for 1 year in LA, and then I stayed out there for a while, did some gigs and stuff. And they started Plead while I was living in LA, and then after I came back, um, Dan and James, two of their older members, had left the band, and they were kind of like feeling out, who to ask. And they asked me to play bass, and I was like, "Oh, sure," like it kind of hit at the right time where I was like, "Oh, this could be really fun," and it has been really fun, to kind of like reconnect with those guys,
that's awesome.
and like, yeah, they're it's like we're good friends, and I like the music, and I think that the way that Brett and Ian write the songs is very different than how I would approach writing the songs. So that's cool to see that happen. And like we talk about this a lot because we started doing a pipe bomb song during our Plead the Wood is Cause set, and
Yeah,
how like those two styles are connected, but they're not the same. Like Plead definitely has more of this melodic kind of post-hardcore thing. Pipe
uh
bomb
huh.
has a little bit of a more dissonant, like darker aura, like, and but it's kind of fun to kind of combine those things, and it's fun for me to play bass in that band. One, because bass is sort of a newer thing for me, and then two, because it is more melodic. I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room to try different things. And like on the new Plead album, there's like some more like hardcore stuff, and then there's some stuff that's sounds like, I don't know, more in like the Title Fight type of vein. But yeah. Anyway, to answer your question, Plead the Wood is Cause comes from a Bible verse in Isaiah, and
Right.
but yeah. So me and Bill are the two newest members who've been in the
Yeah,
band
that's
for
cool.
like a year and a half.
So Plead the Widow's Cause has basically been an independent band since they started. They released the
Yeah.
Paint split on not on a label, and then yeah, that was in 2022. Y'all had some member changes, right?
Hmm.
And you joined, and then y'all released Silver Glass Stare on
Yep.
Resuscitation Records. More as a distribution type of thing, right?
Yeah.
To help you get it out there. So what is it like being in this band playing this style of music in the do it yourself era of music now?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it works really well for us.
Sure.
Like we're all in our 30s. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
like most of us are married. A couple of us have kids.
Sure.
Um, so I think having the freedom, I don't know. I think this idea of like music being this dream and like a career option, or like, making money touring constantly, like I feel like for us it's not very helpful for us to think of it like that. It's more helpful for us to think of like, this is something we enjoy doing. What is a level of involvement that we can have where we get to like be passionate about this and like give it a good go, like do
Yeah.
proper like studio albums and stuff on our own terms without having to
Sure.
tour a ton, without having to put like tons and tons of money into things, without having labels kind of dictate what we do. And so I think being independent, being able to record a lot of things ourselves at home, it's been nice to be able to kind of do that on our own terms, like I said. And like, yeah, I mean, we just did a podcast with Nostalgic Emo Dads, and he was talking with us about how it's kind of nice, like, to be at the point where a lot of people kind of stop doing it in their
Yeah.
30s because it's just too much effort or because they don't have time or because they can't do it on their own terms. And so we're in a really nice place where like we all have jobs, we all have other stuff going on, we all have families,
Sure.
but we can sort of prioritize music at certain times. We can tour, take little weekenders when we want. We can take a break whenever we want. It's nice to just kind of do it at our own
So
pace.
do you have like one person in the band that does primarily the booking for the band? Somebody who does social media, handles the finances. Y'all, is that kind of how it's set up?
Um, Maybe not explicitly. I know Brett is very involved with a lot of it. Brett is very in with like booking things. Um,
Yeah.
he's he does marketing a lot, like for his job, and so
Oh,
like
okay.
any of the artwork and stuff, there's like a very high chance that Brett did it. Um, like
Nice.
social media stuff, he's all over that. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
I think a really big driving force in terms of like being kind of the band dad and like taking care of a lot of that logistical stuff. Um,
Sure.
and yeah, he's really good about like just being present and like reaching out to people on like forums and stuff. Like that's how I met him. It's like on
Oh,
Christian metal
really?
forums and like he
Oh, wow.
like through like previous bands and just like chatting with him online. Like he's very present
Oh, that's
online,
pretty
and so
cool.
he's good at just like yeah, like being connected with other people. And
Nice.
so I think in terms of like distributing all these roles, he does a lot of the kind of logistical stuff. Financial stuff, I think it's kind of like a group effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we I think recently we've tried to make an effort to do like to make writing a joint effort too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ian and Brett are the two primary writers for like a lot of the musical, like a lot of the music itself, and then Matt writes a lot of the lyrics too. Um,
Nice.
and then me and Bill, obviously we're like the newer members, and like drums and bass are not necessarily conducive to like writing the song itself. We more come in and support, the guitars and the vocals and what they're doing. Um, but it's since guitar is like one of my main things, it's like it is kind of nice to like have a riff and be like, oh, that might actually fit pretty well in this song, and it's like mix and
Uh,
match, and that's been fun
sure.
for me to come in after the skeleton of the song is already there and just say, oh maybe this, and have little bits where we can like input. And so yeah, that's been really fun. I think for Silvergrass Stare and a lot of the new songs we're writing, like to be able to kind of just try things and
Well, that's awesome.
make
I'm sure the
yeah.
fans are excited to know that you're working on new music. And Jay, as we say often, we know that the bass player makes all the money in the band. So
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I it's been like I to be honest, like as a guitar player, I always kind of like not thought less of bass players, but I thought of it as a very like, like oh, if you can't play guitar, you play bass kind of thing. And so
nah,
playing bass now, I'm like, no, it's like a different thing, like it's a
it's
whole
like
different like muscle memory, like it feels different. You have to have a different
yeah,
sensibility about like how you're playing. So that's been fun for me of like
sure.
it changing how I play these songs the more that I get into bass and the more that I'm
Mm.
like it definitely changes my approach to writing parts too. Um, and like I don't know, being in a metal band and playing bass is like things are distorted. We're tuned. I mean, we're not tuned super low in Plead, but like it's it's definitely less noticeable if I mess up on bass than if I
Mm.
mess up playing like a lead on guitar. So that's been kind
Yeah,
of fun. Of like it takes a lot of the stress away of
yeah,
playing these songs live. Um, yeah, hopefully that
nice.
answered that. I rambled a bit, but
oh no, no,
No, it's
that's
all good.
cool. I mean, you actually did actually answer my next question, which was about live performances.
mm.
So looks like you all going to be doing, quite a bit of those, or as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean we try to stay active and play shows when we have the opportunity without um, going overboard or like, you know, like again, like I think being in our 30s and like only having a certain level of bandwidth, like we try to choose our battles, like
Yeah.
if we have a festival coming up, we're like, all right, let's prioritize that and like carve out some space to like really prepare for that. We're not the type of band that's like, let's play local shows 3 times a month, like we're like, if we can do a show like every couple months, we're happy with that. And I think that makes it more manageable for us. But yeah, we definitely have some stuff planned in 2026. We got a couple festivals lined up.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a good opportunity to like get out of Jersey a bit. And, yeah, I think that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I was going to ask if y'all play outside of Jersey, so that's cool.
Occasionally, yeah. We just finished last month. Yeah, last month we finished a weekender up in. We went up to like Massachusetts and back.
Nice.
Yeah, and some of the guys have kids, so it's like choosing these little weekend runs is kind of the most manageable way and financially manageable way. Like, you know, you don't want to end up booking like a 2-week tour and then just kind of having, it's a lot of expenses to cover for
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that. So, um,
your kids like to eat, right?
yeah, yeah. So doing these little runs is definitely the way that, at least now, we prefer to do things.
Well, you're from Jersey. You can just jump on a Pantera tour anytime, right? Is that not? Does it don't work that way? Or no, it's not Pantera. It's Anthrax is the one. Ain't they the one from Jersey?
Oh, they're from Jersey?
Yeah, they are from
I
I
Jersey.
believe
know.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of bands from Jersey. My Chemical Romance
yeah,
is from Jersey.
Okay.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
Gaslight Anthem. I feel like Bayside, or I don't know. There's a lot of like punk and indie bands coming out of
sure.
Philly and New Jersey, and yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, what else? You got anything else, Jay?
I'm trying
Uh,
to think. I think I'm good for now, honestly. I
what's
mean,
up?
we got.
Yeah. Well, Mitchell. Then tell us one thing about yourself that fans of your bands watching this might not know about Mitchell.
Oh man. I don't know if I have a super good answer for this. I was gonna say I feel like a lot of people in like the heavy music space don't know that I've played in like other bands, so they probably wouldn't
Sure.
know
Yeah.
about Church Girls.
Yeah.
Which they should check it out. I don't know. I'm still proud of those songs. Like I'm
I'm
very
gonna check
happy
it
with
out for
how
sure.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy with how those songs were, and like we're all still good friends in that band. So like I miss those guys, and it's yeah.
Yeah. Did
I
you
That's
all
I
ever
cool.
wear
liked.
costumes?
What was that?
Did you all ever wear church girl costumes?
Oh,
No.
what would those look like?
Oh my God. There's a few people that cosplay like, comedians that be cosplaying as like, old church women or whatever. And some of those skits are so hilarious. I was
Old
watching
church
one
women.
earlier today actually, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I
not
don't
proud
think
of
we
name.
could pull that off.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you say church girls, I think of like let's see, Chuck wearing Chucks, Jinkos, and a Supertone shirt, maybe kicking a hacky sack around. I don't know.
Like a '90s, yeah.
90s. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Look, it's a wrap. I've pulled it up on Apple Music now, so I will be listening to you all.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty cool stuff. There we go.
Nice. I
So
Yes.
think another
you've
thing
done. Yeah, go ahead.
a
No,
lot
go
of
ahead.
another thing people don't typically know is a couple people have my face tattooed on them, and Matt from Plead the Widow's Cause has my face tattooed on his leg. You should
That
check in with
is.
him if
That
if
is
you come see
insane.
us if you come see us play. Ask to see it. I'm sure he would like
Yeah.
that.
So you're really famous then, huh?
No, not at all. But
I would definitely say that's something that people don't know.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
because
God, that's
so I was going to say you. So you play in Church Girls. You play with this other guy. You see, you've done some session work. So you play different types of music, and that's pretty cool. Yeah. What's like? What's your favorite thing to listen to that's not metal?
Um, yeah, I was surprised. So I'm one of the weirdos that uses Apple Music instead of Spotify. But I like the sound quality,
absolutely.
and it's free with my phone plan, so
Sure.
I listen
Yeah.
to Apple
Yeah.
Music. But when I did my I don't remember what Apple Music calls it, if it's because it's not like Spotify Wrapped. It's whatever Apple's version of that is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But when it showed my top artists, it was all like The National and Pine Grove and The Story So Far and maybe Basement. I forget
Sure.
what all the top bands were, but like there were no heavy bands on there.
Mm.
Okay.
And I think that's Turnover was one of them. So I think part of that is just playing music when my wife is in the car. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to play stuff that she can listen to and enjoy too. But yeah, those bands are definitely like some of my go-tos. Pine Grove is another band from New Jersey, and they're great. They're like, I was late to come on to them, but yeah, their stuff is like a really cool mix between like indie with a little bit of country, a little bit of like, I wouldn't say emo, but it's definitely like emotionally charged. I feel like their
Uh-huh.
lyrics are pretty poetic and deep. And just a lot of subtlety to their music, really good like dynamic playing, and really good songwriting. So Pine Grove is definitely like one of my go-tos. The National too. I feel like as a man in your 30s, it's like, all right, time to start listening to NPR and listening to The National.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like them, and I think
That's funny.
like getting into the more like indie rock thing. Yeah, I do feel like most of what I listen to is kind of in that lighter vein. Um, Pianos Become the Teeth. That's a big one. I really like those
Uh-huh.
guys. Moving Mountains is one that I've kind of revisited lately, and they're really cool. And then I do have like I still have kind of a heart for pop punk. So like The Story So
Oh
Far
yeah.
is definitely one of my top pop punk
Right.
bands.
Cool.
Okay.
Guitar wise, they have a lot of really cool stuff going on. And his vocals are like insane. I don't know how he just stays at the top of his range for an entire song.
Right. Interesting, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think when I'm not listening to metal, it's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And
That's fair.
Turnover, Peripheral Vision is like an all time fave. Like they're just, yeah, that album in particular. I mean, if you ask anyone who's into Turnover, they're like, yeah, that's my favorite one. It's the
Okay.
best for a reason, and definitely a good like fall and winter time album.
Nice.
Which I think that's like that album is getting pretty old now too. It's probably close to maybe 15 years that it's been out.
Wow.
But yeah, it's awesome. If you haven't listened to Peripheral Vision by Turnover, definitely check it out.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, what is your favorite thing about being a Christian?
Um, I don't know. I think when you're younger, your idea of Christianity and being saved is pretty straightforward. Maybe from just like vacation Bible school or like things that you've
Mm.
heard. When you're, I'm thinking of like my own upbringing when I was a kid. Like it just seemed very like, okay, like, you sin, no one's perfect, and
Yeah.
you need a savior. And so I think like my faith, as life gets more complicated, these issues get a lot more complicated too. And so
Sure.
you would think, I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people step away from the faith the older they get, is because it's their faith, the foundation of it wasn't built to take on these more complicated issues. It was built based on, this very small window of thinking about things.
Huh.
And I'm not saying that's anyone's fault. I just think that,
Sure.
like, um, things are really complicated and life can get really hard. And so I think one thing, I guess, it feels weird to call it like a favorite thing, but like, I think definitely the most rewarding thing and meaningful thing is how like I've just seen things prove themselves true the older that I've gotten.
Yeah.
Even like just seeing the evidence of Christ in friends and family, seeing how their faith has supported them through really hard things, seeing like how faithful God has been to me
Yeah.
and to other people, seeing how being married has kind of strengthened my faith, and having my wife has I don't know, it's like all the things that people say about being married, or all the things that people
Sure.
say about the church and getting older and God being faithful. It's like if
Hmm.
you stick with it long enough, you realize it's all true. You know,
That's
it's
good
it's
stuff.
not like, I feel like people who, and I get that people have doubts. I get that people have had complicated relationships with the church or with marriage or with their pastor or Christians as a
Right.
whole. But sticking with it longer and just seeing all these things prove themselves true, and being more sure
Yeah.
of the gospel and more sure of how right it is, and how the God's design is perfect, and how, you know, realizing more and more how much I need a savior, realizing more and more how good he is. It's
Hmm.
just, it feels like it just keeps getting truer and keeps proving itself to me over and over again.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's, I think, one thing that I didn't anticipate, or, I guess seeing it prove itself true despite disappointments in life, and despite life not looking how I wanted it to, or how confusing life can be, and realizing that the opposite is happening for my faith. It's getting less confusing. It's getting more,
Mm.
even if I have more questions now than I ever did, it just feels like, yeah. Um, I'm probably not being as articulate as I should be, but
No,
that's
no,
just
you're
one thing
good,
I've
man.
realized. In the older I know, I'm
No.
not super old or anything, but just the older I get, the more I see how faithful God is.
Yeah. There's
Um,
Yeah.
literally no
Oh,
wrong answer to any of this.
no. No, that's good, man. That's good. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, what can the metal community do to help support Pipe Bomb and plead the widow's cause?
yeah, I mean, just listening to the music is a big one.
Yeah.
Sharing it with friends, I still think that I mean, obviously, pages like your guys' page, Kingdom Core, all these kind of Christian metal promotion pages,
Yeah.
and groups and stuff like that. That's a big factor in helping bands grow. But
Right.
I
Right.
still think that word of mouth, just telling your friend, hey, check out this band, that goes a long way.
Sure. Yeah.
Having that personal approach of share the music you really like with people,
Hmm.
and then obviously buying merch and streaming music helps a lot too. Um, but and going out to shows, I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, the older you get, the more you're it's a Tuesday night, I'll probably just stay in. I don't want to go watch a
Yeah.
5 band bill at a dive bar that gets done at midnight, and fair enough. But I do think that going out to see the bands that you enjoy, and making an effort to connect with them on social media, connect with them in real life, go show up to the show and support them buying merch, those are all things that are really helpful. And yeah, specifically with Plead, um, because we have vinyl out and stuff, supporting Resuscitation Records and picking up the new album on vinyl is that would be a big help for us, because we're just super stoked with how it turned out. We're really happy with
Yeah.
Eric and all the work that he put into that. So that's a big
Sure.
thing, getting that album on vinyl. And then um, we all have merch, we all have stuff.
Yeah.
So that,
Oh,
that's always, and I always I don't know, bigger bands, I don't think that this is how it works, but if I see that little Bandcamp order icon on Gmail, I'm yes, I get so excited every
yeah.
time I see that. So, if you order merch from a small band like us, it really does mean a lot.
Sure. Sure.
So
Well, I will say I was excited to get the new Plead the Widow's Cause, and Eric with Resuscitation Records did a fantastic job on it. So
Yeah.
if you're into post hardcore, you collect wax, pick up a copy. You won't regret it. It's
yeah,
done very
they look
well.
awesome.
Put a lot of thought into it. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. This has been
You
great.
rock,
Thanks
bro.
for your
I agree,
time,
bro.
and looking forward to new music with both bands.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, man.